Hello, my name is David Simon, and I'm a partner at the U.S. law firm Foley & Lardner. I specialize in the FCPA and anti-corruption law.
And I'm Sherbir Panag, an attorney with Panag & Babu based in New Delhi, India.
Doing business in India continues to present a compliance challenge for U.S. companies. For example, in the last couple of years, U.S. enforcement authorities have announced multiple FCPA resolutions, arising at least in part from conduct occurring in India. For U.S. companies to run effective corporate compliance programs, they must conduct effective internal investigations of allegations of misconduct in their India operations. That can present some unique challenges.
While the basic approach to internal investigations remains largely the same across jurisdictions, we have found it useful to modify our investigation strategy to take into account country-specific considerations.
Today in this video, we'd like to share with you 10 tips for conducting effective internal investigations in India. First, in our experience, we find that Indian compliance-related internal investigations are often generated by reports from current and former employees. We have investigated several matters in which serious compliance issues were buried in an assortment of general management and personnel criticisms.
It therefore becomes important to pay close attention to anything resembling a whistleblower complaint and to be careful not to discount potentially serious compliance issues simply because such issues were raised alongside seemingly frivolous ad hominem attacks on management or colleagues.
Second, given the scattershot nature of some employee complaints in India, it's worthwhile to invest time and energy at the front end of a compliance investigation to properly scope the work.
We have often found it useful and helpful to arrange an early interview with the whistleblower in order to fully understand the compliance issues raised and, more importantly, to separate the compliance wheat from the human resources chaff.
Third, keep in mind that there is no attorney-client privilege for in-house counsel under Indian law.
Therefore, if the fact pattern and the nature of the allegations requires that privilege ought to be exerted, it would become imperative to retain outside counsel to lead and conduct the investigation.
Fourth, we recommend finding local Indian counsel when a potential FCPA issue arises. India is a big country with 22 official languages.
In addition to Indian counsel leading the investigation, at times it becomes important to retain local counsel who have language and practice expertise in the city or region where the investigation is likely to be conducted or where interviews have to be conducted. This would also help from the perspective of accessing and reviewing local records.
Fifth, it's prudent to take extra steps to avoid sharing the identity of the reporter with other employees of the Indian operation.
From our experience, even for companies with robust anti-retaliation policies, whistleblower retribution is unfortunately common in India, which obviously can aggravate an already emotional and legally precarious situation.
Sixth, law enforcement in the United States and in India work on two different paradigms. The law enforcement objective in India is focused on securing the conviction of individual wrongdoers. Bribery investigations in India can move quickly, resulting in arrests and media coverage, which can change the fundamental calculus of the investigation, including the issue of self-disclosure in the US.
Therefore, it becomes most important to be prepared and have a contingency plan in place to react and effectively respond to such situations.
Seventh, the smartphone has been heartily embraced in India, and it has found many creative uses, including the voice and video recording functions. Don't be surprised if employees reporting possible misconduct have recorded conversations that they claim show improper behavior. And don't be surprised if your interviews are being recorded as well.
To counter this, ensure one person never conducts interviews alone and that an accurate record of interviews is maintained. Furthermore, do not forget to ask the interviewee if he or she has an audio or video recording surrounding the allegation.
Eighth, when conducting internal investigations in India, pay special attention to any cash expenditures, whether or not they are related to the transaction in question.
Cash is often not as critical to the operation of the business as might be claimed, and cash expenditures can often signal potential issues of misconduct, including bribery.
Ninth, Improper payments in India are very often made through agents, consultants, and other intermediaries.
Any India-based investigation must always carefully examine all relationships with and payments made to third parties.
And 10th and finally, in reviewing documents or in India operations books and records, there are certain terms and phrases for which you should keep a lookout, as they might suggest improper payments.
Certain categories of fees and expenses should be closely scrutinized, such as brokerage charges or fees, consultancy charges, covering charges, management fees, documentation charges, management expenses, out-of-pocket expenses, protection fees, and special expenses.
Certain phrases on invoices are red flags as well, such as obtaining license, liaisoning or government liaisoning, for clearances, for getting NOC, for obtaining approvals, or really any other grammatically awkward or vague reference on an invoice.
Additionally, there are certain words from local languages that should be included in your search terms, which are red flags as well, such as rishwat, bakshish, ghoos, hafta, chai pani, and black money. That wraps up our top 10 tips for conducting internal investigations in India.
Thank you so much for viewing our video, and please do let us know if we can be of assistance in any way.